Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Key Time Sports. This is Key Time coming back to talk about the NFL playoffs, the divisional round that happened over this past weekend. Now, all the games were very intriguing. There was a lot of legacy moments I saw, and then there was a lot of players that didn't step up to the plate like everybody predicted. So now, the very first game that I'm going to cover is the Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, starting off, both teams were cold, and I do mean both teams were cold. It was 6-3 after the first quarter. Then all of a sudden, it really wasn't no offensive fireworks in this game. And I mean, as you can see, CJ Stroud, 19 of 28, 245 yards, zero touchdowns, zero interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, he had a decent day, 16 of 25, 177 yards, one touchdown, and zero interceptions. Now you see where the rushing attack for the Kansas City Chiefs was non-existent at 50 yards again at 50 yards total. Then you see the rushing attack for the Houston Texans, which was 149 yards. And you see where the Texan wide receivers and the Chiefs wide receivers had a decent day. And there was a lot of play calling and a lot of flags that were thrown in this game. And everybody is saying that the refs are on the Chiefs side. In a game like this, where everybody has a sense that the refs are on the Chiefs side, you have got to blow a team out like this. It's got to be, you got to be up by 21 points with under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter to have any 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 comfortability with a win like a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Because if it is under 10 points or 6 points, you know that the referees, they are going to put it over in the Chiefs' favor, because right now the Chiefs, they generate the most money when it comes to the playoffs, and the Texans, they have not won a divisional playoff game yet in their franchise history, and that is why the Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship game. The Texans, they have not gotten any further than the divisional playoff. Now the Chiefs, they do have a chance to go for a three-peat, still have a chance. This will be if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and get the three-peat. This will be the second three-peat that I have witnessed in my lifetime. The first three-peat that I witnessed, I was very young, but I understood what was going on. The Los Angeles Lakers from 2000 to 2000 to 2002. Those were the 3 years where the Lakers won the championship. And now is this equivalent? Now is the Chiefs equivalent to the Los Angeles Lakers? More than likely, yes, because you have Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. Can't nobody stop that dynamic duo. And then you also have a dynamic defense for the Chiefs. You also have a dynamic defense for the Chiefs. So now when you see that, and you also see the Texans, the Texans, they are in a bad division, so that's the reason why they showed up in this game. That's the reason. But the Texans, they missed so many plays out there on the field. They could have won this game, and I mean, it would have shocked everybody, including me, if they would have won this game. So we get to third down situations in this game. Third down situations in this game, 10 of 17 for the Texans and the Chiefs. They were lucky to win this game because they were 4 of 11 on third downs. And I always say teams that go 2 of 11, 3 of 11, or 4 of 11 will lose the game most of the time. most of the time. But this is the Chiefs we are talking about, and it seems like the Chiefs, they've won ugly. They can win pretty. They can win. They can win like gritty a little bit, and also they can win a game where Patrick Mahomes, he turns the ball over a couple of times and they still win. And that's how it's been all season long. So the Chiefs, they are going to the AFC Championship game again, and they will be in the AFC Championship game for the seventh consecutive year and sixth time in 7 years hosted the AFC Championship game. So that is an accomplishment in and of itself. The next game I'm going to cover is the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit Lions in this case, the Detroit Lions, I was pretty surprised on what I saw Saturday night. You had Jared Goff, he threw three crucial interceptions. He was 23 of 40, 313 yards, one touchdown, three interceptions. And let me just tell you, I remember I said this earlier in the season when the Detroit Lions was going through all of those injuries and they lost Aiden Hutchinson week 5 after they beat the Dallas Cowboys. I was saying the Detroit Lions, they can make the Super Bowl, but those injuries are going to take a toll, and that might be their downfall. And that's exactly what it was, because you can see, I mean, the Commanders, they were gaining 7 to 8 yards per play Saturday night. Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 299 yards, two touchdowns, zero interceptions. Between the second quarter, both teams, they scored three touchdowns. So 42 points in 42 points in one quarter by both teams combined. 42 points. So now you see that, and you see where the Commanders defense is 18th. They are the middle of the pack. The Detroit Lions defense is a top 5 defense. Obviously, it didn't look like that Saturday night. And you see where the rushing attack for the Washington Commanders, they gained 182 yards, and the Detroit Lions gained 201 yards by rushing. And then you have the Detroit Lion receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown had over 100 yards. Jameer Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Khalif Raymond, Tim Patrick, and Jameson Williams all had at least one catch in this game. So, what do I see from the Detroit Lions, and how can they build? So, the last couple of years, this year and last year, the Detroit Lions, they've stayed in the thick of things come later on in the season. Now, since they've gotten their team, since they built it, let's see what they can do next year. Can they get to the Super Bowl? Because last year, got to the NFC Championship game, lost a 17-point lead and lost the game. This year, NFC Divisional round, they were not able to stop the Washington Commanders in their tracks. Now, next season, let's see if they can bring those guys back and basically run it back again for a third straight year. And as far as the Washington Commanders, you have exceeded everybody's expectations. Jaden Daniels, stop the voting right now. Just stop the voting. Stop the Rookie of the Year voting, because Saturday night solidified his position as being the offensive Rookie of the Year. Everybody just need to stop voting. I wish I was a voter, because I would put in my vote for Jaden Daniels as of right now this morning. That's what I'm saying. Jaden Daniels, he has reset the tone for rookies. I mean, when you see it, I mean, it was a third and long versus the Detroit Lions I saw where it was cover three, and then the Detroit Lions switched it to man, and I mean Jaden Daniels was just cool, calm, and collected, calling out the play, taking a deep breath, and 3, 4 seconds later, bam, throwing it to Terry McLaurin, and then Terry McLaurin took it down the sideline for a 55-yard touchdown. He is cool as a cucumber. Jaden Daniels, he is not phased by the level of play that he is throwing. That's why I say the Commanders are not a pushover when it comes to the NFC Championship game. And even though they're playing against the Eagles, they won against the Eagles earlier in the season. So they know how the Eagles play. The Eagles know how they play. So this NFC Championship game is just going to be what defense can stop the offenses the most. Who can stop an offense consistently? Whether it's can the can the Commanders defense stop the Eagles offense consistently, or can the Eagles stop the Commanders offense consistently? Those are the two questions, and I'm gonna save my prediction for later on in the week because there's a whole lot to unravel when it comes to these two championship games in the AFC and the NFC. The next game I'm going to cover is the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Jalen Hurts, he did not wow anybody with his stat line. 15 to 20, 128 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Matthew Stafford, 26 of 44, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Saquon Barkley, over 200 yards. This guy, he is the he is the engine to what makes the Eagles go. You can see that. Everybody can see that. And then you have Karen Williams, who had a fumble, a critical fumble late in the game. If he didn't have that fumble, maybe the Rams win the game. But the Eagles, they are on their way to the NFC Championship game for the third time in 7 years. So now, the Rams, they had a good season. The Rams were 4-7, and then went on a 6-game winning streak, won their playoff game versus the Minnesota Vikings, got to this point, and they were stopped in their tracks by a better team. Now, at the start of the season, I had said if I had to put some money on it, whether the Eagles or the Lions would host the NFC Championship game, I said the Eagles because the Detroit Lions early in the season were experiencing injuries. And now we see where the Eagles are about to host the NFC Championship game. Now make no mistake about it. The Washington Commanders, they are coming in. The way that they play football and the way Jaden Daniels play football, he doesn't care if it's fourth down or not. If it's fourth down and it's under 5 yards, Jaden Daniels is going for it no matter what. And on top of that, hopefully that defense comes and puts it together and try and have an upset win. But just like I said, I'm going to save my prediction for later this week for another show. But as of right now, I am just so excited that a rookie, this is the second rookie in NFL history to play in a championship game. The first rookie was Ben Roethlisberger back in 2004, and I remember that game vividly because Ben Roethlisberger that season they were 14-2. They had the Patriots coming in. The Patriots were underdogs, and then Ben Roethlisberger, he threw an interception. Rodney Harrison took it back 85 yards, and that is what propelled the Patriots to the Super Bowl that year. And in the Super Bowl, the Patriots played the Eagles that year and won. So now we see Jaden Daniels and those Washington Commanders, they are not afraid to monk up a game. They're not afraid to monk up a game, and they are not afraid to play to play a track meet or a shootout. And that's exactly what they played with the Detroit Lions. That's exactly what they played. Now, as far as the Eagles concerned, the Eagles offense with Saquon Barkley, it's a ball control offense. And I think this week is going to be a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley. And I think the Eagles, they are going to do ball control. And I think the Eagles may go on to the Super Bowl. But if the Eagles have offensive deficiencies early in the game, that might spell trouble for the Eagles defense. It might. It might. And another thing, third down, I always like to cover third down, third down statistics before I shift on over to the next game. And both of these teams were pretty much in the same boat when it comes to third down efficiency. The Rams, 6 of 16 on third down offensive efficiency. The Eagles, 6 of 15 on third down offensive efficiency. This was a tight game, and we expected it to be a tight game. Now, the last game that I'm going to cover happened last night. It's the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Everybody was saying that this was supposed to be a legacy game for Lamar Jackson. And let me tell you, Lamar Jackson, as a team, the Baltimore Ravens had 3 turnovers, 1 interception, excuse me, 1 interception by Lamar Jackson, and 2 fumbles by the rest of the team. Now, Friday, I said that the Buffalo Bills would win a close game. I said by a touchdown or less. So this was right in the realm of possibility what I said when I said that it was going to be. And credit to Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had a good season. He hasn't put the ball in harm's way and turned the ball over. And even in this game, he had a decent game. He was 16 of 22, 127 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Lamar Jackson. I'm a huge proponent and fan of Lamar Jackson, but it's just getting to the point where it's like I have to see the Ravens get to a Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl before I can say that they are championship material, because over the past 3 or 4 years, they have been in this game. They have been to the playoffs, but they haven't been able to get over the hump or the threshold. And we saw it last night. We saw where if Derrick Henry got over 90 yards, the Ravens were 11-0 this season. Last night, he only had 84 yards. The Buffalo Bills defense neutralized Derrick Henry and all of the other people that was at the running back position for the Baltimore Ravens. And you see where, like I said, Isaiah Likely, he had one of the games. He had a good game. He had 4 catches, 170, not 173 yards, 73 yards. And also, when it comes to the fumbles that I talked about a few minutes ago, Mark Andrews lost a fumble, Lamar Jackson lost a fumble, Lamar Jackson threw an interception, and Tylan Wallace fumbled but recovered his own fumble. Now, as far as the Buffalo Bills, you've had a good season. I didn't expect the Buffalo Bills to make it this far, but let me tell you, the Buffalo Bills have made it far off of the shoulders of Josh Allen, throwing to people like Ty Johnson, James Cook, and running back out the backfield. And as far as the wide receivers, Khalil Shakir, nobody knew who Khalil Shakir was coming into this season Mac Hollins. Everybody has heard Mac Hollins before, but he didn't have the type of the word that I'm looking for is charisma and energy and explosiveness with the other teams, because other teams that he was with didn't have a quarterback like the Buffalo Bills have. Also, we all know that Dalton Kincaid was going to be there. Curtis Samuel coming into this season, he was not a big name. Keon Coleman, the Buffalo Bills got him in the draft. Amari Cooper, the Buffalo Bills got him in a trade earlier this season. And Dawson Knox. Not too many people knew who Dawson Knox was coming into the season. But now we have both games for the NFC and the AFC set. The Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles NFC Championship game, and the AFC Championship game versus the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of these games are going to be ultimate classics, and I cannot wait until this weekend to give you to first off, I cannot wait until Friday to give you my pregame analysis to who I think that will be an X factor for both of these games. And also, I cannot wait to tell you who I have going to the Super Bowl. Boy, this is a good time of year to be a sports fan and a sports journalist like myself. I am excited for what is going to be in store for these championship games. I am excited about what is going to be in store for the national championship game tonight. And after this show, I will immediately start talking about the national championship game between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So don't go anywhere. In a few minutes, I will start another show about the college football playoff national championship in a few minutes. And with that, those are my reactions to the NFL divisional round of the playoffs. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Please like, follow, and share Key City Sports on Instagram. We are now on Instagram. We have a lot of sports news over there right now. So to stay up on the latest sports news, follow Key City Sports on Instagram. And one last thing, remember, the key is always